Hello everyone, and welcome to the third and final episode of our Beyond the Wire How to Play series. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about what makes a good squad leader in Beyond the Wire. Now, just a reminder that if you are new to this series is sponsored by Beyond the Wire, and if you are looking to pick up a copy of the game, make sure you check out the link in the description down below. Alright guys, so if you're watching this video and you've been following the series, about at this time you should have some pretty good confidence in the game. You should know how the game modes work, you should know how the kits work, and this is when you start getting into how to squad lead. After you've built your foundation of knowledge for all the mechanics and aspects of the game, you can then use all of this knowledge that you've acquired to help others by leading. And squad leading is one of the most satisfying and rewarding aspects of any platoon shooter. When you have that general understanding and mastery of the game, it is an amazing feeling to coordinate actual people, human beings, to make large assaults, stalwart defenses, and really epic cinematic moments happen when you make the right calls. So let's jump straight into the things that I consider are the most important aspects of squad leading. The first and foremost is going to be communication. Communication among not only your squad, but the entire team is absolutely required and critical for this role. You are a squad leader, which means that you should be leading, and you need to communicate what you want done and what you need to have happen in order for you to execute what you have in your mind. And it's very important that you are able to do this in an inspiring and clear manner so that people will actually listen to you. If you're mean, rude, brash, or maybe you don't even say things that people can understand or hear, it might be very hard to get the results that you're looking for from your squad or team. You need to make sure that you are an effective communicator first and foremost as a squad leader. Now, when you're talking to your squad, there's a couple of tips I can give you here. It's stick to the ABCs, which makes sure that you're accurate, you're brief, and you're clear when you're coming over the microphone. Don't take a whole bunch of time to say something. Make sure you keep it as clear and as brief as it can be, and making sure that you're accurate with the information that you're giving. So double check, is that really an enemy position? Is that really a enemy HMG or RD position, or is it your own? Double check things, because the more confusion and things that you throw out on the net and the more that you talk, the more likely you are to actually run into some problems. Another tip here is that remember that you're playing outside of your squad as well now. Now that you're a squad leader, you have access to command comms, which means that you should be listening and talking on the command net to coordinate with other squads. Now, this can be extremely daunting for new squad leaders because they're primarily focused on making sure that their guys are working as optimally as possible. But remember that once you step into that role, you are that bridge between the commander and your unit. You need to make sure that you're communicating with other squads and the commander to make sure that you're executing the commander's intent and making sure that you are operating to assist and support other squads when needed. Now, this does require quite a bit of practice because you're listening to so many comms. You've got local, squad, and command now. One of the things that I do recommend to newer players who jump into the squad lead role is to take a break from the front line. Make sure that you're behind your troops. Make sure you're not trying to get too many kills. Your main job, and the thing that you really want to learn how to do at this point, is how to listen and communicate. Because those two things, once you build those proper foundations, will give you the freedom to then go out and frag out with your rifle as you are doing that at the same time. So make sure that you aren't prioritizing kills and your own single player gameplay when you're a squad leader. You need to be making sure that you're prioritizing that bridge of communication between your squad and the team and the platoon. So make sure that you're focused, really focused on what's coming through on comms. There's nothing more frustrating as an experienced squad leader or commander when another squad refuses to answer calls on comms. My next tip is to plan and use teamwork. This ties in a little bit with communication, but make sure you're willing to work with others. If someone in the platoon wants your help or needs your help, make sure you're willing to give him that teamwork, give him that support, and make sure that you're there to be able to work with other people. That's one of the biggest things of being a squad leader, is being able to work together as a platoon. Sometimes you'll need to make sacrifices to your plan in order for the entire platoon to accomplish something, and that's just how the game is if everyone operated independently and only worried about the things that they were doing, it would be absolute chaos, and you would not get these epic teamwork-oriented moments that we see a ton in platoon shooters like Beyond the Wire. So make sure that you're communicating and you're a team player. Now, getting a little bit more specific, let's talk about spawns. Now, as a squad leader, remember you have two ways to spawn your squad. If you have the rally down, your squad can spawn on the rally, or if you destroy or don't put a rally down, your team can spawn on you. And this further emphasizes that you shouldn't necessarily always be in the front, as a squad leader. Make sure you're somewhat in a safe position, especially if your rally is down, so that your squad can rapidly redeploy and support your positions and reinforce your guys on the point. If you're in the front and you're dying often and you don't have a rally down, that means that your squad is constantly running back to the front lines. So if you're trying to get really good spawns, one of the best tactics is to destroy your rally and sit yourself in a safe position near the front line, but not on it, so that your team can continually flood the point. Now, as we're talking about assaults and telling people what to do and how to make sure you manipulate spawns correctly, you need to remember that you have to have some sort of mastery over all of the roles in Beyond the Wire, at least a very general understanding. You should know essentially what your riflemen are looking to do, what your assault classes are looking to do, and what your LMGs are looking for. You need to be able to know this so that you can direct your LMGs into the proper position to cut off the proper avenues attack for the rest of your team to move, or to know when to call your assaults to smoke and where to have them smoke in order to get a push or charge across the open. You need to have a basic understanding of how all the roles within your squad work so that you can utilize them and lead them in the most effective way possible. And once again, this comes with game sense and game knowledge and game experience. So get out there, practice. Don't be afraid. You will be bad at squad leading at the very start, but once you get comfortable with it, it is very rewarding. And it is something that the game needs. Beyond the Wire and all platoon shooters need competent squad leaders. Games like these are run by the community, and it's very important that we have people who step up, who take charge, and who are competent and kind when it comes to leading. Don't be an asshole on the net. It's a video game at the end of the day, and we're just all trying to have fun. But teamwork is what makes these games so great, and why I want to inspire each and every one of you listening now to become a squad leader in Beyond the Wire. Leading charges is some of the most insane adrenaline-filled stuff. So moving on to the next point here is bayonet charges. You should know as a squad leader that you have the ability to activate a bayonet charge in your T menu. By hitting this, you get a small buff to you and those around you who use your bayonet charge. So being able to tell when exactly is the best time to use a bayonet charge is very important. Usually what will happen in a standard assault is you'll soften up the area ahead using either grenades, your grenadier, your call-ins, your field artillery, using any kind of HE to soften up the area before. Then you use smoke or gas, or you use your assault class smoke grenades, and you try to obscure the area. Once you have softened up and smoked the area, that's time for you to fix your bayonets, tell those around you to fix their bayonets, time up a charge, hopefully using your communication and using the comms to get other squads online with you to charge, and then activating your bayonet charge, charging in there, and sweeping through the point. This is a World War I game. You need to attack in mass with coordination and making sure that you're moving in with aggression. If people trickle in one by one and Beyond the Wire, as a squad leader, what you're going to see is just a stalemate. People getting chopped up left and right, people dying one by one. This game and World War I is based off of mass charges. You need to use those numbers, and that only works if you used everything we've talked about before. Using communication to organize your squad, using communication to coordinate with the commander to make sure he gets his assets in on time, getting the other squads online with you, making sure someone's defending your point, making sure that your LMGs are looking the right direction and your assaults are going to smoke where you want them to smoke. And then finally, leading that charge. You need to be able to more or less inspire your teammates around you and your squad to charge with you. And sometimes that means leading from the front. Now, just keeping in mind, you don't always have to because spawns are important, but you need to know when you have to step up to the plate, when you have to take that initiative and dive right in. So make sure that you are constantly aware of all these things. There's no exact cut and clear black and white example of how to do everything, every charge, every defense. It's going to be down to your playstyle and the situation at hand. So stay flexible, stay open-minded, make sure you're listening to other squad leaders and working together, because that, I cannot emphasize this enough. Communication and working together are needed in these games. And Beyond the Wire needs good squad leaders like yourself to step up, take that position, learn it, not quit, and keep going, because that is how these games get better. The last tip I want to talk about is remembering that your job as a squad leader is to lead. And we touched on this a little bit before, but you really need to remember that as you get out there on the field, it's going to get hectic. Artillery, grenades, gunshots, players rushing at you, commanders trying to reach you on the net. There's a lot of stuff going on. At the end of the day, remember that if you have to, take a step back from anything on the front line, listen to your comms, talk to your guys, inspire them, give them the big picture because they don't hear what's going on in command net, and lead these people. I've seen far too many squad leaders who will just take the role for the kits or to hear things on the comms or to see things on the map. don't be that guy. Be that squad leader that other players are dying to play with, who spam on match start trying to join that player's squad. Be that kind of squad leader. Help your guys, talk to your guys, and lead them. A lot of players in these platoon shooters need direction. Don't think that you're overstepping your bounds by trying to tell these guys in Beyond the Wire when to charge, where to go, or how to do it. There is a certain line where you can get a little over involved, but most of the time, players that I've seen as far as new squad leaders are just not too with it or not too involved. So I would generally recommend that you try to stay as online with your guys on the net and in local as much as possible. And then gradually, as you learn the game, you'll learn when things need to be said and when not to be said. So there's a lot to take into thought when you're actually on the field, and you'll learn a ton as you continue doing it. But I made this video and this guide to inspire you guys. At this point, you guys should know how to play the game. I've taught you all the general mechanics. I've taught you the general class ideas and mechanics as far as how they function and what they are good at and how they specialize in the squad. Knowing all of this information and getting a couple of games in with each class, you guys are in the position to begin squad leading. So I highly recommend squad leading in Beyond the Wire. It's extremely satisfying when you get that awesome mass charge in, more so than any other game, just because of the scope and the scale of it. Just having 100 players on the map, 50 people charging in this small kind of lane. It's very, very awesome. And to know that you help bring it together, you help organize it with the call-ins, with the arty, with your smokes, and with your LMGs, knowing that you can get a perfect assault off is some of the most cathartic action I think you'll ever get in gaming. But that's all for today's video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed today's guide. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And just a reminder that if you are looking to pick up a copy of Beyond the Wire, please check out the link in the description down below. It's got a lot of cool things coming, and I highly recommend that you keep an eye on this game. But that's all for now. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, good hunting.